guys, welcome back to today's video. So today we're starting Matt's bedroom refresh, and Matt is my 3-year-old son, and his bedroom has definitely been a work in progress. Pretty much every room in my house has been a work in progress. We've never really had the kind of money where we could just go in and completely update everything and completely get every space the way we wanted. And it's always been a work in progress. We've always done everything in stages. And so for Matt, about a year ago when he was 2 years old was when we first started getting his bedroom ready. And we came in here, we painted, we bought him a bed, we bought him a mattress. I sourced his dresser and got like his cube organizer and his curtains. And that was like the first stage. I just came in here and kind of got his room started. And for this next part, I want to come in here and I just want to make it better. I feel like his room feels a little bit jumbled. I've never really loved the way I had everything laid out. Our mini library that we have is in here on the bookshelf, and I've always wanted to paint that. I got that with the idea of painting it someday. So there's just a few things I want to do. We're going to declutter in here. I bought him some new bedding, and so I do feel a little bit stressed out about this one because, for one, there's something about having like I know his room's not that big, but having all this space, but at the same time, it's like a weird layout. There's a door here on this wall. Right here is his closet, and his closet goes basically right here. And then we have a window right here. So there's really only a couple places that I could put his bed. But the only reason why I want to move his bed from right here is because I'm not sure if I could fit a nightstand right here. I might try, and if it doesn't work, then we're going to try to move his bed maybe over here. And there he could definitely have a nightstand. But I do want him to have a nightstand. That way he could have like a little lamp, and when we like read at night or something, we could just have the lamp on, like all dim. He'd have a spot to put his water bottle at night. So that kind of stresses me out. I don't have a clear vision for what I want to do for his room. And then also for decluttering and paring down, I'm not sure what I want to get rid of. But we're just going to go through everything. We're going to try to declutter what we can. I know for sure he has a ton of little cars. There's probably some that we can get rid of. And then I'm going to keep probably a couple bins in his closet for toy rotation. So that's what we're going to do. We are just going to declutter. We're going to clean this room. And for today, we're just going to be doing the decluttering. And then tomorrow is when we'll deep clean. I want to deep clean the carpets and like wipe down the walls and all that. There's a few spots on the wall where I want to like patch the paint. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm a little stressed out, but I'm going to try really hard not to be stressed out. I'm just one of those people where like I like to know like what's happening. And because I'm a little unsure, it's stressing me out. I know I just need to start and I'm going to feel better. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to start and we're going to declutter and try to clean up some of these toys. Okay guys, so this is the start of Matt's room, and it's a little bit messier than usual just because I knew I was going to come in here and clean it and everything, and so I've kind of been letting it go this week. And then this is the bookshelf. This won't be in here when me and Matt start decluttering. I took these befores like a day or two before we started decluttering so that then I could remove the bookshelf because I did want to update that a little bit and I wanted it to have some time to cure and set before we brought it back in the room. But just take note. And then the placement of the room, we had the bookshelf there and his cube organizer right here. And I just didn't really love the way everything flowed. He also needed some new bins desperately, and I learned the hard way. I've definitely gotten a couple sets of these fabric bins, and then it dawned on me that I could get plastic, so we're finally going to get rid of these fabric bins and replace them with plastic. So me and Matt are just going to go through each bin here. I'm going to throw away a few broken toys, and kind of what I'm going to have going here is the cardboard boxes for donation, and there wasn't a lot that I wanted to donate. And then the white bin is going to be the start of our toy rotation bin. So I'm going to try to put some toys up in there so there's not quite so many down. And then I'm just going to start dividing up all these toys into the different bins. And before, when I had the bins, I did have 6 bins in the cube organizer, but I felt like it was just maybe too much. It was too much storage, and so we were keeping too many toys. And so I decided to just get 4. So not only was it cheaper, it might help us keep less toys. So I'm going to try it for a while. And then also, I think it'll be nice to have a few open cubes that we can use as shelves. We're just going to go through here piece by piece. And like I said, I really didn't know what to get rid of with Matt because he's so little. He really plays with everything still. And so I didn't have it in my mind that I wanted to get rid of everything. I just wanted to try to organize, get rid of some broken things, and definitely start that toy rotation. I'm just on my way back home, little drunk and alone, but I'd rather click ya. Even though it's Friday night and I got no plans tomorrow, I could use a bam, 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 but it's not from you, cause I'm not that hollow. Baby, let it be. You could try to sweet talk all you want, but I ain't that lonely. Baby, let it be. Forget your rules, forget your shoes. I've done everything you asked, but I wasted time. Forget your truth, you're just cool. I swear anything's better than you. Get you on the flip side, get you on the flip side. So goodbye. Funny how it works sometimes. Yeah, we kinda hit it off at first. Checking every bar in town, all the sleepless nights until things. So while we were going through these bins, I found like 5 or 6 Spider-Mans. And he's so funny. I was like, which one do you want? He was like, this one, this one, this one, and this one. He wanted all of them. But Matt is a really good helper. He loves to help. And I love that I can tell him, like, this is what we're doing. We're going to go in your room. We're going through every single bin. We're going to throw some stuff away. We're going to keep some toys. And he gets the concept, and he can help me along the whole way. And he knew, like, okay, we're done with one bin. It was time to bring mom the next one. And he was helping. There was some toys. He was like, I don't want that anymore, mom. Throw that away, mom. I don't want it. So it's just so cute. I love when he helps me, and he's just such a funny little boy. He has such a little personality, and he talks so well. I love getting to spend time with him and just hear his little thoughts and his little reasoning and all that. It's extra special for me because when Audrey, my middle daughter, was little, she just didn't talk very much. And it was so much different from Nikki. So Nikki's my oldest, and Nikki was like a prodigy child when it came to speaking. She was such a good talker, and from the time she was like a year and a half, she could talk so well and in complete sentences, and everybody just thought it was so funny that this little tiny kid could talk so clearly. And then I had Audrey, and she just really didn't talk, and she was very advanced physically, but for talking, she just didn't talk very well. And she honestly didn't want to talk. She really didn't try to talk. And so I feel like I really missed out on her, kind of. I didn't get to hear what she was thinking in her little brain, and you know, she was just kind of quiet. She was always, like, personality-wise, she was there, and she was very funny and very silly and very sweet, but I didn't get to hear a lot of her talking. And so I feel very sentimental about getting the privilege to hear his little thoughts and hearing him express himself, because I know how much I missed with Audrey and how I didn't get to hear all those silly little thoughts come from her. And I always wondered what she was thinking and how she felt about things. And so I feel like I have that contrast. And so I feel very grateful that I get to hear him speak.
If it gets too dark, I'll be your light. Be your light. I'll be your light. If it gets too dark,
Now that I'm done with the decluttering of all the toys and organizing everything, then I went through our little mini library, and then I had Nikki come in here and go through all the chapter books and basically everything she's read. She was like, I'm not going to read it again. We should get rid of it. But we decided to put them away for Audrey, so when she's a little bit bigger, we'll pull them out for her and see if she wants to read them before we get rid of them. And some of these books are kind of special. It's called the Warriors series, and it's this series about cats. But a lot of these chapter books I had actually bought for my little sister. We have like a 10-year age gap. And so when I was a young adult, she was, 10, 11, 12, and I would buy her these chapter books. And she kept them for a long time, and then she gave them to Nikki. And so Nikki's read them too. So I didn't want to just get rid of them. I'm going to try to keep them and see if Audrey will be interested someday too. But once we finished all this decluttering and organizing and all that, I did remove most of the toys and things that were in here because I do plan on coming in here to deep clean and take care of the carpets. So I figured I might as well just take everything out of the room, and I moved it all to my master so that tomorrow when I come in to deep clean, it's nice and empty and I could do a really good job without everything in the way. So I am horrible with time. It all just runs together, and I'm not sure how long it's been, but I think Matt has been potty trained for 6 weeks, and if not, then it's 2 months. And then even before that, I hadn't been changing his diaper on the changing table anymore because he was going number 2 in the toilet. And so when I needed to change his wet diapers, I would just pull them off and he would slip a new one on. And so the changing table has not been used for a long time. I think it was even 2 months before that I didn't need to change him on the changing table anymore. So this changing pad has not been needed for 4 months, maybe a little bit longer. And I just haven't come in here and gotten rid of it. I haven't gotten rid of the wipey warmer. And I am just a sentimental freak. And so I just kept coming in here and like seeing it and knowing that chapter's closed and just leaving it. So I finally got that stuff out of here. It's no longer needed, and it's so bittersweet. I hate that my little boy is growing up, and it just happens so fast. And it's just a reminder today, Mom, that I know days are really hard and kids can be so stressful, and some days you're just like at your wit's end, but it really goes by so fast. And just remember, these days right now are the days that we're going to look back on and wish that we could have back, and they're just going to be so special to us. So just hang in there. Everything's going to be okay. These are the good days.
It kills to be halfway alive since I had you, and one till I see you again.
So this is everything that I was able to declutter. There was also a box of some donation items, but it's pretty small. So 1 bag of trash, the changing table, a few toys, and then this is the room nice and empty so that we can come in here and start the deep cleaning.
Call you up, you're on the other side. Say my name, kiss my name, believe no more. It's like we're right here, then I realize how can I have.
So the first thing I wanted to do was come in here and vacuum, but then I remembered that I should probably dust first. And I also decided that I'm gonna get rid of those leaves, at least one of them. We never use 2. If anything, we only use 1 at a time. And so we're gonna get rid of 1, and I'm gonna have Nico put 1 in the garage, and then that'll give us a little more room here in the closet. We do keep like that box of wrapping paper. That's just my year-round wrapping paper. So for birthdays or anything like that, I have easy access to my wrapping paper, and it's not up in the attic. And then we also keep our 5-gallon water jugs in here. We don't have anywhere else in the house that they can go. There's no room in my pantry in the kitchen. Like the shelving isn't the right height, so they wouldn't fit in there. And then I have 1 small closet that they could fit in the hallway, but I do keep my carpet cleaner and my vacuum in there. And so the only usable space that we have easy access to would be Matt's closet here, since it's just him and he doesn't have that much stuff. His closet was basically empty, and so that's why we keep our water jugs in here. But it's just something we got to do. In a perfect world, I wouldn't have them here in his bedroom, but so we are just going to do a quick vacuum in here.
Say my name, I'm not here, can only go so far. I don't mind the moment I realize I don't mind the moment I realize.
So while I had the furniture moved, I wanted to come and wipe the walls down and get off the little handprint and feet prints, and especially around this light and the door. Do you guys have the same thing where your doors get really dirty, and not just like handprints or dust, like weird stuff splashed on your doors? I feel like all my doors have this. Every time I do a cleaning of the doors, there's always like some weird splashing, and I don't know, it's just there's always something random on the door, and I can't think of any situation where it happens, but it always seems to happen. And every time I wipe down my doors, there's, I don't know, like some weird water, something on them. I don't know. I just find it odd that every time I wipe down any door, every single time, there's always some type of liquid splashed along the bottom of the door. Maybe it's condensation mixing with dirt or something, but
There's a world inside my head. I get lost in it from time to time. No one has a spare key, the only one.
Matt was putting in some serious work and we were getting this room clean.
I don't really dare to escape. Fall out in another space, so I stay. Hey.
Once I finished up the walls and the baseboards, then I wanted to come and remove this sticker. Since I'm going to be moving some stuff around the room, it wasn't going to work right here anymore, and I wanted to get it taken off the wall before I shampooed my carpets so that I wasn't like kneeling on the wet carpet. I got this sticker set off of Amazon and it was like $10. I will try to link it down below for you in case you're interested, but I thought it was a really good sticker. It didn't come off. Some people said it came off. I think it just depends on the texture of your walls. But I have a little bit of texture and the stickers stuck really well, and we didn't have any lifting or anything on them, so I will try to link that down below for you. But we're gonna quickly get this sticker removed, and then I'm gonna start patching some of the paint on the walls.
Hey. I don't really dare to escape. Fall out in another space, so I stay.
Do you guys notice that weird light change in here? For some reason, it's just Matt's bedroom. The light does this, and I don't know if it's my camera or if it has something to do with the color of the carpet, with the color of the wall, and then the shade of the light, like the light spectrum of the bulb. But it always does this where if I have my camera faced a certain way, it'll change the color of the lighting, and then it looks like I have this weird kind of like sepia filter, but I don't know, and it just does that. And if I like slightly change my camera, slightly move my camera, it won't pick up that weird filtered light. So I don't know what causes it, but it always does that in here, just in Matt's room, and all of a sudden everything looks really yellow. So this is my Rug Doctor carpet cleaner. If you've seen some of my videos, I've talked about it a lot, but I really love this thing. It works so good. I like that it uses a lot of water, so I feel like it puts down a really good amount of water, and so it actually cleans versus just like, you know, barely spitting on the carpet. So I do like that, and then it sucks up the water really good. The carpet feels basically dry when I do my passes over the carpet. So it puts down a lot of water, but it also pulls all the water right back up. It's really powerful, but I love my Rug Doctor. They sadly don't make this particular one anymore. When I bought this, probably like 7-8 years ago, I bought it for like $300 at Walmart. They don't sell anything like this anymore. Now they're like $600, although it's probably just inflation. But I love this thing. It works so well. And so if you can afford the Rug Doctor, it's a different style now. It's called, I think, Rug Doctor Pro. But if you can afford it, it's super awesome and it works really, really good. But I'm just glad that I got it back when I did, because there's no way that I could afford it today.
I don't wanna leave you scared. Hurting and move swiftly. We can hold on out there. Fly, Duncan, fly. My angels cry. You were born with ice in your veins. They could never make you their animal. Hear only the song of the king before you, ringing your bones.
Okay guys, so we are on to day 3, and this day I just had Nico hang up some of the stuff that I had got for Matt's room. So he hung up these shelves for me. He's also gonna hang up some artwork that I got, and then he also hangs up a hook board for me. And I love to have Nico do it. I can hang up some stuff, like a little bit, but I would prefer to just have him do it, because I know that it's gonna be perfect and centered and all that. And if you know Nico, like our families, they all make fun of him because he is definitely like a crazy perfectionist. I love it, and he's so good at putting stuff up, and it always just looks so perfect. So I definitely wanted him to do it for me. So before we finish Matt's bedroom, I wanted to show you guys the bookshelf. So this is the bookshelf that was in here, and we actually got this bookshelf on OfferUp. I had been on the lookout for a bookshelf, and on OfferUp, when you start looking for something, it'll start sending you alerts. And I actually got an alert for this, and the lady was giving it away for free. And it worked out perfectly because Nico happened to be home that day, and I loved the shape of it, and I thought it was a really good size. And so as soon as I got the alert, I was like, Nico, we need to go get this. So we went down and we picked it up. We got it for free, and it was originally more that orange color that I don't love. And so I always had the idea of painting it someday, and I didn't want to chalk paint it like a solid color. I really was leaning more towards like staining it, but that is a lot of work to sand it all down and strip the old stain off. And so I just did a little more digging, and I found paint washing, and I paint washed this in a black chalk paint, and it was really, really easy way to change the look of this bookshelf. So all I did was wipe it down with some TSP cleaner from Dixie Belle, and I already had that from other projects. So I just wiped it down, and then I did a really quick sand on it with some like 320 grit sponges that Nico had, and I just barely sanded it, just like a quick once over the whole thing to get rid of any burrs, any little bit of original finish that was still on it, because it was pretty old and majority of the finish was already gone. It wasn't even shiny really, it was more of a matte color, so most of the finish had already come off. So I just did a really, really quick sanding on it, rinsed it all down, and then I went in with the chalk paint, and all you do is, you know, paint your chalk paint on there, and I think you can do it with any paint, it doesn't have to be chalk paint. And so I put it on there, and then, you know, used a paper towel to kind of wipe it all off, and then it leaves this effect behind where it just looks a little different, but it still looks like wood, because I really wanted to incorporate some wood elements in Matt's room. And so this was just an awesome way to update this piece, because I was able to get it done in one day. I think within 30 minutes this thing was prepped, and then, you know, a couple hours later I had completely paint washed the whole thing, and then I sealed it with 3 coats of polyurethane. And so I got this whole thing done in one day, which was really awesome. But I just wanted to show you guys. It's so cool. Like, it still kind of looks like wood. It kind of looks like stain. It kind of looks old. It looks a little bit rustic. But it's just so cute. I love the way it came out. I love the color. It was really fast. Luckily, like, I had the top portion to practice on, so I was able to kind of get the feel of it and then, you know, complete the rest of the project. But it was really cool. You really can't mess it up. Even this portion here, like, I went over this a second time because it was like a little bit too light. And I think it looks fine. Like, you can't really see, you know, it doesn't look that much different from the other parts of the bookshelf. But I thought that was really cool. So we got this updated, but now I'm going to finish up Matt's room. But because yesterday Nico came in here and he put up the shelves, and this is the hook board, I'll show you that. I do need to come in here and clean again. The shelf is really dusty. There's, you know, plaster and stuff all over the floor from drilling and all that. So I'm going to come in here and dust and vacuum again, and then we're going to bring in the rest of Matt's stuff and finish it up in here.
Tell me for certain, girl, have you lost your way? I ain't the only one with nothing to say. Probably forgotten all that you did to me. Silence rings louder now than the words unsaid. Got nothing to say. 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 Tired of the speeches, ain't like you knew my name. Act like you linger and nothing feels the same. No, 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 no. I know for certain you got your own disguise. Now I'm left questioning all of them goodbyes. Got nothing to say. Got nothing to say. Got nothing to say. Got nothing to say. Got nothing to say.
So once I got Matt's room clean and back to square one, I thought I would start with the bed just so that I could make it while the bed was moved away from the wall. I thought maybe this would be a good time to talk about the theme that I went for. We started his room and it definitely was kind of Marvel themed, Spider-Man and all that. But I didn't want to just make the whole room all red, all blue, all Marvel. So I tried to think of a way that I could incorporate a little bit different stuff into the room. And so I ended up going with kind of like mountain core and superhero. And I was pretty nervous because I felt like I could envision it in my head and I thought it would work together. But at the same time, I couldn't find anything like it on Google. And so I was a little concerned that it was going to clash really hard and it was going to look dumb. But in my opinion, I think it worked good. I think the two styles were able to work together just because the mountain core is a little more neutral and I was able to bring in the wood elements. And I tried to keep some of the blue that was already in Matt's room, but I changed the bedding from Spider-Man to this more neutral blue stripe, which I thought was so cute. And then I brought in like that mountain core artwork, and that's just black, and I thought that that would work with the bed. And so I know it's a lot of different colors, but I was thinking that it would look okay. It would just look like a little boy's room because I wanted it to look nice, but I also didn't want it to look too grown up. And so I was trying to find this happy medium to where it wasn't super loud and obnoxious, but it also wasn't too grown up for Matt. And so I felt like I could have the neutral elements, I could bring in the wood, I could do the mountain core, which I think is really cute for little boys, but then I could still keep some of the more themed decor like the Spider-Man curtains and all of his Spider-Man toys, and things would still look okay in here. And I think it does look fine. I think it looks really cute to have like the wood and the black, but then still have a lot of the pops of red and yellow and just the more colorful toys. And I feel like it works better than if I had just gone all Spider-Man, all Marvel. I don't love rooms that are all 100% one theme. I don't know if any of you are like that. Nothing against it, but something about really matchy-matchy sometimes. I don't know, it just looks too perfect. So overall, I'm really happy with the way it came out. But you guys will have to tell me what you think. So here is the toy rotation bin. That's everything that we're gonna keep up in the closet. And then I have one bin of clothes that are a little too big. And then that little bag is that truck that has to be built. I don't know if you guys remember that I had bought that for Matt for Christmas, but you take it all apart and it has screws and everything, and then you can build it back together. But I like to do that with him because if I just let him take that out, he'll dump all the pieces everywhere and I don't want to lose everything. So I'm just going to keep that up with the toy rotation stuff too. And now it's time to get the books back on the shelf, and I'm really happy that I was able to declutter a lot and also able to put some away in storage because there's a lot less stuff on the shelf. But one thing that we ended up DIYing was these bookends. So I had seen these on Amazon and they were like $20 for a set of 2, but the reviews weren't that great. And so I asked Nico if he thought he could try to make them for me, and he did make them for me. So he cut out some squares and then he cut out some mountains for me and he put them all together, and then I stained them, and then I printed some stickers off of my Cricut to make it more mountain core themed. And then we put these little rubber feet on the bottom, but they work really good. They came out really nice and they're very sturdy. And these actually work to hold up our books. The old bookends that we had didn't work at all and they would just fall over. Oh yeah, and then I also top coated it in a polyurethane, the same polyurethane that I used on the bookcase. And that was it. They came out really good. It did take a little bit of time just because there were so many little steps, but they came out really nice, and we were able to make them the dimensions that we wanted, and I was able to put the types of stickers that I wanted to, you know, instead of only bears, I was able to put like a wolf and also an elk on there. So I was just really pleased with the way that these came out, and I was able to make 4 for the price of the 1 set.
On a Wednesday night at the same old spot, spending every dollar I got. 2, 3 shots won't leave one dry, and a jukebox on lock. She just wanna party all night. We be two-stepping in the back of the dive. I've been down and Jack all night, tending to my keys cause they know I can't drive. going up north with a rose one. Stars ain't hard to find.
So Matt really loves his grandparents, and Nico's dad is Papa and my dad is Grandpapa, but he really loves his grandparents, and so I thought it would be so cute to put a picture of his Papa and Grandpapa in there and put some of his most special men in his life on his little shelf here, and he loved it. He loves looking at the pictures of them in there, but I just thought that was so cute. This is another quick little DIY that I did. I painted these letters and I got them at Walmart, and these are 5-inch letters. I had looked at the 8-inch letters, but they just looked too big. They seemed like they were just going to be too big, and so I went with the 5-inch, and I'm glad that I did. I feel like they look a little more proportioned for this piece of wood. And I used my Gorilla mounting putty to hang these up. And I'm wearing gloves because I had chalk painted them matte black and I didn't want to seal it and change the color of them. So I used gloves so that I wouldn't get oils on the paint. And then Nico made the hook board for me. And to make the hook board, I found this piece of walnut from Home Depot, and then I sealed it in polyurethane. And Nico, of course, measured out all the spots for the hooks and everything and got the hooks put on there for me. But I love the hook board. I love the wood color, and I was able to look through all the little pieces of walnut, and I found this really cool one, and it had this really cool weathered wood look to it. But I love the hook board. I love the way it came out, and I'm glad that Matt finally has a place to hang his masks and hang his backpack, because every time I would clean his room, I just felt like they didn't have their own spot, and I think it worked just perfect. And we hung it high enough so that Matt can reach it and he can hang his little backpack and take his masks on and off the wall if he needs to.
She just wanna roll with me. From the bar to the stool all night. Just you and I, two-stepping in a dive bar.
Here's the final reveal. I love the way it came out. It feels more comfortable and cozy, and it flows together so much better than the previous layout. I love the updated bookshelf, and I think it came out so cute, and it was a really fast way to update the shelf. I love the new artwork, and I love that everything has a place now, and I feel like it's gonna make tidying his room so much quicker throughout the week. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I had a lot of fun. I know I always say it, but I'm so thankful it came together in the end. Please subscribe if you're new. I'd love to have you, and I will catch you guys back here next week.